If you're a real estate investor or a wholesaler and you're struggling to get deals done, it's because of one thing and one thing only, and that is because you don't have enough leads. And the best way to get leads right now is through online marketing, specifically Facebook, TikTok, and Google ads. And right now in this video, I'm going to share with you the 7 tips for making sure that your Facebook ads for motivated sellers bang out sellers like there's no tomorrow, cheap leads, quality leads. And this is really important for you if you are thinking about starting now. At least you know what it's going to take. Number 2, if you have an agency running your ads, and you can look at their ads and look what I tell you here, and you can know if in fact they're doing a good job for you. And if you're running them yourself, this is going to give you additional tips and strategies on how to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. Now, just in case you don't know me, my name is Cris Chico. I am considered the godfather of virtual wholesaling. Why? Because I created that niche back in 2007. In fact, I was doing virtual wholesaling in 2004. I pioneered the use of ugly postcards for direct mail, 24-hour recorded messages. I pioneered Facebook ads in 2016, and now TikTok ads for motivated sellers. And I tell you that because you should listen to me, because I'm not just some schmuck on the internet with a camera and a nice background. I know what I'm talking about. And if you listen to me, you're going to make money. So let's go ahead and get right down to it. Let's talk about tip number 1 is how to the most important thing I can tell you is that if you are going to be using Facebook or even thinking about using Facebook in order to target a small geographic area, then you're going to be wasting your money. I talked to so many investors. Like, for example, I talked to an investor, just getting myself situated, talked to an investor about a couple of weeks ago, and he hired an agency, and the agency literally took his money, because if he came to me, I would have told him, no way, Jose, you're going to be wasting your money doing it this way. He said, I want to do a particular part of New York. This is all I'm focused on. The agency said, yeah, no problem. Next thing you know, 6 months later, he's spending a ton of money, not getting anywhere, and really has not done a deal. Between agency fees and ad spend, spent 15 grand, didn't get anywhere. If you're going to be focused on something that is very much focused on a small geographic region, really, you got to go with Google. This is not a video on Google. I will do some videos on Google for you, but that's where the game is when it comes to this. Facebook is great for the nationwide wholesaling model. And so in order to get the best bang for your buck from Facebook, you're not going to target one specific area. You're going to go ahead and target initially when you start. I recommend you going nationwide in order to get the account with pixel activity, with activity in terms of Facebook, knowing and understanding who your target audience is. And so you're going to get a bunch of leads rather quickly. If you're brand new in the business, this is great because you need to practice. You need to practice with motivated sellers, talking to them, making offers, not sounding like a fool, not sounding like you got a sock in your mouth or you ingested NyQuil the night before and now you're sleepy. All those things have to be taken care of so you can do a deal. And so by targeting nationwide, you're going to get a lot of cheap leads and you're going to get the practice. And then eventually you're going to go ahead and ratchet that down. You're going to target states. I'm going to share with you my states here in a second. I target 15 to 20 states overall. That's going to bring your cost per lead down. If you're going to do local and on Facebook, I don't recommend it. Or even on Google, you're going to spend a ton of money on local lead generation, minimum $150 to $200 per lead, but typically $300, $400, $500 per lead. When you do it this way, when you do what I tell you to do here, you're going to have a cost per lead of about $15 to $25 per lead, which is amazing. And also, too, it's cheaper than the pay-per lead providers. If you're going out there and paying for leads with these pay-per lead providers, they're selling you Facebook leads. They're not even selling you the primo Facebook leads. Because what happens with when you're doing any sort of pay-per lead model, what most of the time happens is that they get all these leads from all these nationwide campaigns, the same ones that I'm telling you about here. And then there's a guy in Florida that says, hey, I want all the Florida leads. There's a guy in Texas, in San Antonio, says, I want all the San Antonio leads, and I'm willing to pay $200, $300. And then what happens is that company sells those leads to those people. And then what happens is they're going to go ahead and have a bunch of nationwide leads left over, the crumbs, the leftovers. And then what they're going to do is they're going to sell them to you. And you're going to get all these leads in rural areas. And then you're going to say, oh, my God, this is horrible. These people I can't do anything with. But it's just the fact that you got the hand-me-downs. Don't do that. You got to run your own ads. You got to put yourself in control. If you have your own, either you run your own ads or you have somebody run them for you. We have a couple of different ways. If you want to reach out to us, we can actually set up this entire system for you, show you how to run it. You can run the whole thing in about an hour a week and save you a bunch of money with agencies. And then what happens is, so you want to be able to target wide, ratchet down, but no less than, I would say, the minimum would probably be 5 states. Ideally would be 10 to 15 to 20 states. And so these are the states that I target. Let me share with you that here. These are my top 19 states. These are generally the states that we do business in. You can add or subtract from this. Like, for example, South Carolina nowadays, they got some funky laws with regards to wholesaling. So maybe you eliminate that. Sometimes people say, well, Chico, what about Oklahoma or Illinois? Because Illinois requires a license, but you can do one deal in Illinois without needing a license. So don't worry about that. Oklahoma, there's no law against wholesaling. You just can't publicly market a property, meaning you can't put it on Craigslist, can't put it on Facebook Marketplace. So don't worry about that. But these are my top 19 states. But again, don't target small, target big, go wide. All right. Number 2, use Facebook lead forms to make a lot easier for you. When you use Facebook lead forms, it's a lot simpler. You don't need to worry about having a converting website. That's number 1. You don't have to worry about the tracking not being done properly, because if you have a website that you're sending people from Facebook, number 1 is Facebook doesn't like that. They want to keep people on their platform. So you're always going to have a higher cost per lead. Then when they go to the website, you got to have a converting landing page. If you don't have a converting landing page, then you're going to end up spending even more money per lead. And then the tracking has to be correct, because if you don't have the tracking set up correctly, then what's going to happen is you're going to have somebody submit their information and become a lead, but Facebook doesn't know it because the tracking is off. And now your campaign isn't going to be performing, and it starts this downward spiral of just bad stuff. All right. So what you need to do, though, however, if you're going to use lead forms, you got to put in some questions in those lead forms. So that way you make sure that you get the right people to submit your forms. So the way Facebook lead forms is, this is how they look like. This is what we ask in the property. What type of property is it? Single family, duplex, land, etc. Is the property listed with an agent? And we just want to filter those out. The condition of the property, the location of the property. I don't think you can see it there. Let me see if I could move it around so you can see here. Yeah, the condition of the property. Then we have the condition, the location of the property, then the condition, how soon they want to sell. All right. We ask a lot of questions. Asking price. We even asking for the asking price. Who's living at the property? What's the reason for them wanting to sell? Then they input their information. That's the way you need to do it. If you're going to have lead forms, you do it like this. You're going to have great cost per lead, but you're going to have good quality leads that you're going to have a great conversation with. The next item on the list, number 3, is start small with a budget. Listen, in the beginning, even if you told me, Chico, I got like $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month to spend, don't do that. I always recommend a budget of 25 on the low end, maybe $50, no more than 50 for the first couple of weeks. Make sure that everything is working. Make sure all the integrations are working, because when you use lead forms, you need some connectors back to your CRM or wherever you're going to handle the lead. So there's some technical stuff that all needs to be put in place in order for this platform to perform properly. And you got to make sure it's all done correctly. The last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money and then you're not getting the leads because you messed something up. So start small, making sure. And also keep in mind is that the leads stack up on each other. Because let's say you're doing a budget of, say you ramped it up to a budget of $75 a day. And the first day you might get a couple leads. Then tomorrow you get 3 leads. Another day you get 1 lead. Another day you get 4 leads, and you think it's manageable. But what happens is that after about 2 weeks, now you've got every day you got leads coming in. Now you have people you're trying to get a hold of from the other day. You have properties you're trying to put on the contract. You have properties that you're trying to sell. It gets busy. So it starts to stack up right away. And the last thing you want to do is run a bunch of ads, and then you're so backed up that you can't get a hold of anybody. And now that might seem foreign to you because you might be stuck cold calling and you might be thinking, Chico, I get a lead every so often and it is agony. I don't even know what it means to have like a bunch of leads. Don't worry. With Facebook and with these platforms, your dreams will come true. But you got to be careful, because if you don't do it properly, you could end up just wasting a bunch of money because you're inundated. The last thing you want to do with these leads is call them back 3 days ago. A lead inputs your information a day. You call them back in 3 days. Way too long. Because you got to think about it is Facebook is an interruption-driven platform, right? You don't know what that person was doing at the time that they filled out the form. They could have been in the toilet, sitting down, having their day of their time, their meditation, if you get what I mean. And then now, they don't remember that. They don't remember them filling out the form. And then when you try to get a hold of them, it doesn't really gel with them. They think you're a scam. bad situation. You got to be on top of those leads right away as best you can. Now you're going to get some leads that you're not going to be able to get a hold of for some reason, but it's okay. As a percentage, if you get 10 people that supply their information, you should be able to get a hold of about 7 of those people. All right, and that's number 3. Let's talk about number 4. Focus on the quality leads and ignore the rest. You know, this is a game of sifting and sorting. You got to change your perception, your mindset, because if you're doing cold calling or you're doing anything else that you get barely a couple leads here or there, the problem is that when you get a lead, you feel like you got to take this lead and carry it in a little, like in a pillow, because it's so delicate. You haven't seen a lead in days, and when are you going to see another lead? Who knows? With Facebook, and when you're running campaigns and when you're running them effectively, you are inundated with leads each and every single day. You got leads coming out of you know what. So what happens is you can't place equal importance on every lead. It has to be a sifting and sorting game. And this is great, because what happens is that rather than being in a convincing business, now we're in the sifting and sorting business. If you get somebody that's a seller and they're horrible, they're like the worst human being that you've ever encountered in your life, then you could just say the magical words, a 4-letter magical word. No, it's not the one that begins with an F. It's the one that begins with an N. It's called next. You just tell the seller, you know what? I can't help you. Best of luck. Have a nice life. I got like 3 other people to call, and I'm sure they're going to be nicer than you. And that's what you want. You want to be in the sifting and sorting. And again, what constitutes a bad lead? Number 1, a seller's crappy attitude. A difficult seller. Why do we need those difficult people in our life? Now you're going to get a variety of different leads. You're going to get leads in large cities, which is great. You get a lead in Dallas. You get a lead in Houston, Texas. You get a lead in all those large metro areas. This is amazing. This is the best type of lead. Now we're going to get leads in small towns. We can't avoid these small towns, but there's a lot of action in these small towns. We routinely do deals that are 15 to 20K pops, assignment fees in small towns. So do not discredit those. Now we're going to get leads in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there is nothing. You're wondering, like, what I do when I get these leads? I always like to know what kind of restaurant is in there. And typically what I find is a diner with wood paneling. And it's like, if you got lost in that town, nobody would ever find you ever again. Right. So those are the places that we don't want. And oddly enough, there's always a Wendy's, a Dollar General, and a Taco Bell. I don't know. What does that say? I don't know. Not making any judgment. If you like that kind of stuff, it's okay. Now, let's talk about keeping your ad copy simple and direct. Don't get fancy. Don't get like, don't get fancy. I don't know how else to say it. Call out to the right audience. And when I say that, meaning look at our ads. Sell your property fast, hassle-free with a guaranteed cash offer. Like, that's simple. Sell your property fast for top dollar. No hassles, no fees. Sell your property fast with no BS. Get your cash offer now. And then on the right is the actual primary text of the ad. Attention property owners, fed up with repairs, commissions, and all the real estate nonsense. We've got great news for you. And again, the ad is very clear. We use emojis to make it nice and easy to read, but that's what you want. You want clear, compelling copy that speaks to the target audience, which now we also have to mention. You want to call out to the audience, because we want a particular type of lead. We do wholesaling. We don't do subject to. That's for another day. I don't recommend, if you've never done a deal before, don't go down that rabbit hole of trying to learn like how to be a subject to ninja. You're going to be a make no money ninja. That's what it is going to happen. So you got to be focused on collecting big checks, $15,000, $20,000 checks as soon as humanly possible and as quickly as you can. So we want certain type of people. We want inherited properties. We want properties that need repairs. We need properties that are vacant. We need problem properties. We need the ugliest piece of ever. It's funny, when I used to be in Miami, when I did a lot of deals in Miami-Dade, we used to call those, we used to have a name for them. It's called OPPOS, overpriced piece of, those were the bad ones. The good leads look horrible. They look absolutely horrible, but that's what we need. We need something that needs repairs and fixing up, and the property owner just cannot deal with it. And when you do that, when you call out, like if I'm doing a video, I will say in the video, hey, do you have an inherited property that you're thinking about selling and you're wondering what you should do with that property? Should you list it with an agent? But it's going to take a while for that property to sell. They're going to have a bunch of people coming to the property. What about selling it to a cash buyer, someone like us? My name is Chris. I'm with National Property Buyer, and we buy properties that we buy inherited properties all day long. The same thing I would say in the video. For example, do you have a property that needs repairs and fixing up? So we want to call out to the audience. I'm going to talk about video and images in a second, but we need to just call out to the audience. When you call out to the audience, look at this. This is a sample of leads that have come in, and look at the condition. Look at the motivation: divorce, damage repairs, financial hardship, inherited, tired landlords. That's what we need. Those are the kind of properties that we need. We need stuff that is, either owner occupied, there's vacant, cosmetic work. Those are gold. That's what the type of properties that we need. Now, the seventh tip is that you got to be able to use images and videos on these campaigns. I saw recently a ad campaign being run by an agency. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not the kind of guy that talks, you know what I mean. But they were running video ads. They were not running video ads. They were running image ads, and they were running image ads that were like basic, like stock footage. I mean, they were just horrible. And the client was targeting quite a large area, and he was spending $75, $80 a lead. We went in and changed the whole campaign, and now they got back down to $20 per lead. And the client said that the leads that they were getting from our campaigns that we built for them were much better in terms of quality. All right, you don't need to be a pro. In terms of videos, you record them on your phone. We use a tool for the images called Canva. For videos, you can use a video editor called CapCut. You can do that on your phone. If you have a child over the age of 12, they can probably do it for you because they're probably an expert. You're not. And we just need to make sure that everything stands out. So an example, this is the type of ad that we run on the right-hand side. Like, this thing is ugly. This thing will catch your attention. This thing will just stop you in your tracks. That's what we need. We need to get these people to notice our ad and say, what is this? So ugly. And they're like, yeah, but my house is just like that, and I need to get rid of it. And that's what you want them to think. The videos on the left, that's me with a guy with a bald head. You may not have a bald head, but you can still look good on camera. Those are the type of video ads that we run. We calling out to the audience. Do you have an inherited property? Do you have a property that needs work and fixing up? If you want to learn more about the nationwide wholesaling model using Facebook, TikTok, and Google Ads, check out the video that's going to appear here. It's a 2-hour masterclass where I walk through the entire model step by step. And now you can become an expert at nationwide wholesaling using online marketing.